सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दान् अतीतद्वैतभानतः गुरूणाराध्य वेदान्त सारं भक्ष्ये यथामति। We have entered into the fourth chapter of this text. The first chapter is Anubandha Chatushtaya Nirupanam. Second chapter is Tatpadarte Adhyasa, the superimposition of Ajnanadi on Tatpadartha Brahma. And the third chapter is Tvam Padarte Adhyasa. So that was the development. Now the fourth is Apavada, negation. And negation was done very briefly. See, we have to build the building, then it takes so many years. Then destroying the building doesn't take time. Now they are going to destroy one building, 32 floor building in Delhi. It will take 13 seconds. They are going to have the technique. 13 seconds, whole building will collapse. I really feel that, my God, such a building, they should have given to some slum people. Anyway, so that's a lot of things. So 13 seconds will be over. Such a thing, you know. So Tapavada is very little. And then it was said by Apavada, Tattvam Padartha Shodhanam also is done. Means Tattvam Padartha Vichara, arriving at the Lakshyartha of Tattvam Padartha also can be achieved through Adhyaropa Apavada. We have seen how. And then Tatpada Vachyartha, Tatpada Lakshyartha, Tvampada Vachyartha, Tvampada Lakshyartha were talked about. Then Mahavakyartha Varnyate. Mahavakyartha is being described. And it was said in the beginning, in the introduction, the mic has gone. Huh?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Huh? Yes. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Hari Om. Ah, yeah. Let's come, no?
No, sir.
Acha.
Huh.
Yesterday he did something.
This is blue.
Yes. Ah. No. Yes. Hari Om. Yes.
Come.
Is there? Ah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Is there? Something is loose. We have to keep. Vedanta also is meant for tightening what is loose. Okay. So, in the introduction to the topic of Mahavakyartha Varnanam, it was said, Tattvamasi Vakyam Sambandhatrayana Akhandartha Bodhakam Bhavati. It becomes the Mahavakya becomes the revealer of the Akhandartha through three types of relationship. And three types of relationships are Samanadikaranyam, Padayoho, Padarthayoho Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, and Pratyagatma Lakshanayoho Lakshya Lakshana Bhava. So threefold relationship, apposition, the qualifier qualified relationship, and implier implied relationship. And to substantiate this idea, this Naishkarim Siddhi Vakya was quoted. Then the Samanadi Karanyam is mentioned between the padas. Tat pada and Tvam pada have got Samanadi Karanyam. And how they have Samanadi Karanyam, that was explained first in the example. Soyam Devadatta, how Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda, both of them have got the connection in the form of having Tatparyam in indicating one pinda. Here it is not clarified, but Ekasmin Pinde they will have Tatparyam only through Lakshana, which is not talked about here, which will be clarified in the third stage. Okay. So here we are simply telling based on the word that the Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda, both of them are having that connection in pointing out only one entity. Then they will have that type of relationship they have is Samanadikaranya Sambandha. In Tattvamasi Mahavakya also, Tatpada and Tvampada, both of them have got connection in revealing Chaitanyam, one Chaitanyam, that is Samanadikaranya Sambandha. So in the first stage, based on the relationship between the two words, Tat and Tvam, and that relationship is in the form of Samanadikaranyam, we can appreciate oneness. So this is in the first stage or in the first level, appreciation of oneness based on Pada. Second is based on the Padarth, based on the oneness based on Visheshana Visheshya Bhava between the Padartha. So yesterday we saw that. Can you explain, Santushta ji, Visheshana Visheshya Bhava Sambandha tu? Angla Bhasha hai beva.
विशेषण विशेष्य भाव संबंधः तु यथा तत्र एव वाक्ये सशब्दार्थ तत्काल विशिष्ट देवदत्तस्य अयं शब्दार्थैर् एतत्काल विशिष्ट देवदत्तस्य च अन्योन्य भेद व्यावर्तकतया विशेषण विशेष्य भावः यथा whereas
Whereas?
Two.
Okay.
Whereas the relationship in the form of qualified and qualifying one is yatha, is in this manner. So now first Drishtanta is explained. Tatra eva vakye means in that vakya, which means Soyam Devadatta, that in that sentence alone, the relationship of Sa Shabdartha and Ayam Shabdartha. Now, the relationship of Sa Shabdartha, which is in the form of Devadatta endowed with that time, with Ayam Shabdartha, which is in the form of Devadatta, who is endowed with this time, is Visheshana Visheshya Bhavaha. And how is it so? By being the negator of mutual differences, these two padarthas have Visheshana Visheshya Bhava Sambandha.
How that Anyonya Bheda Vyavartaka?
So this we can see as follows. Suppose we say Saha Ayam Devadattaha. Here Saha is the Uddeshya and Ayam Devadattaha is the Videya. In this case, the Ayam Shabdartha is negating the difference in Sa Shabdartha from itself. In this way, Ayam Shabdartha, by being the Bheda Vyavartaka, becomes the Visheshana of Sa Shabdartha. And this can be seen in the converse way also.
How?
Like Ayam Devadattaha, Saha Devadattaha. Here Ayam is the Uddeshya and Saha is the Videya. Here Sa Shabdartha is negating the difference in Ayam Shabdartha from itself, and hence it becomes the Visheshana of Ayam Shabdartha.
And therefore
Now
they have Visheshana Visheshya Bhava. Drishtanta. Okay, very good. Then
in Dashtanta we see the same thing. Tatha Atra Api Vakye means Tattvamasi Vakye. तत्पदार्थ परोक्षत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्यस्य त्वं पदार्था परोक्षत्वादि विशिष्ट चैतन्यस्य च अन्योन्य भेद व्यावर्तकतया विशेषण विशेष्य भावः. So similarly in the sentence tat padartha, which is in the form of consciousness endowed with remoteness etc., and tvam padartha, which is in the form of consciousness endowed with immediacy etc., there is visheshana visheshya bhavaha on account of them being negator of mutual differences.
How?
So here, suppose we take tat, tvam, asi. Tat is the uddeshya and tvam is the videya. In this case, the tvam padartha is negating the difference in tat padartha from itself, and by that it becomes the tvam padartha becomes the adjective for tat padartha. And conversely also, if we say tvam tat asi, tvam is the uddeshya, tat is the videya. Here again, tat padartha is negating the difference in tvam padartha from itself, and thus tat padartha becomes the visheshana for tvam padartha.
Good. Therefore what?
Therefore,
They have Vishesh Visheshya Bhava Sambandha. And Visheshana Visheshya Bhava Sambandha will be suggesting that oneness. That tat tvam asi. It is that is this, means that is not different from this. That is not different from you. And tvam tadasi, it means that you are not different from that. You are that. When it is said, it means you are not different from that. That is you, means that is not different from you. And thus, tvam padartha, not tvam. Tvam padartha becomes the vyavartaka of the difference in tat padartha from itself. And similarly, tat padartha becomes the vyavartaka of the difference in tvam padartha from itself. And therefore, both of them will be conveying the idea what? Tvam is not different from tat. Tvam padartha is not different from tat padartha, and tat padartha is not different from tvam padartha. And that is how Visheshana Visheshya Bhava will be indicating this non-difference of tat and tvam. And that is how Ekya Bodhakam Bhavati Kim Mahavakyam. So that was seen at the level of the Padartha. Samanadikaranya Sambandha is at the Pada level. Visheshana Visheshya Bhava is at the Padartha level. Now, question would be that how our intellect can appreciate oneness between this Sa Padartha and Ayam Padartha in Drishtanta. How in Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, how our intellect can appreciate oneness between the meaning of the word Sa and meaning of the word Ayam. Soyam Devadatta is there. So that question may come, that you said that they are pointing out oneness, but how our intellect can appreciate oneness? Because the meaning of the word Sa is the Devadatta endowed with the feature of a young man. And the meaning of the word Ayam is Devadatta endowed with the field of the features of an old man. And the features of young man and features of old man are different. Young man has got dark hair, shining skin. The old man has grey hair or no hair and very wrinkled skin. So, the meaning of the word Saha and meaning of the word Ayam, they are opposite. Then, by Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, how can there be appreciation of oneness? That question may come because there are opposite features. The meaning of the word Saha is referring to the Devadatta who was young Devadatta. Devadatta endowed with the features of young man. And Ayam means Devadatta endowed with the features of old man. How can there be oneness between the two? How can we say Saha Ayam, Ayam Saha based on Visheshana Visheshya Bhava? How our intellect can appreciate this? That is explained with the help of the third stage, which is going to be talked about in the 153rd paragraph. Before we enter into that, let us understand how our intellect appreciates. Our intellect, what it does, it takes the meaning of the word Saha and drops the features of young man and appreciates only pure individual. Saha means what? This Yuva Devadatta or Devadatta with young, the features of young man. That is the Vachyartha, immediate meaning. From that, our intellect, what does it do? It drops the features of a young man. What does he appreciate? Pure Devadatta. Pure Devadatta means what? Devadatta minus the features of a young man. And it takes up the word Ayam. And then Ayam Shabdartha it grasps as what? The Ayam Shabdartha is Devadatta with the features of old man. And what does Buddhi do? Buddhi drops the features of old man and grasps what? Only pure Devadatta. So from Sa Shabdartha, only pure Devadatta is extracted. From Ayam Shabdartha also, pure Devadatta is extracted. And between the pure Devadatta, which is the meaning extracted from the Saha, Sa Shabdartha, and pure Devadatta, which is extracted, meaning extracted from the Ayam Shabdartha, both of them do not have any contradiction. Pure Devadatta does not have contradiction with the Ayam Shabdartha, extracted meaning of Ayam Shabdartha, and from Ayam Shabdartha, pure Devadatta which is extracted doesn't have contradiction with the extracted meaning of Sa Shabdartha. And therefore what? The pure Devadatta extracted from Sa Shabdartha, pure Devadatta extracted from Ayam Shabdartha, they do not have contradiction, and therefore Buddhi grasps what? Saha Ayam. And what will be the meaning Saha Ayam? Pure Devadatta. So pure Devadatta is understood as the meaning of this Vakya. And that meaning is called Lakshyartha. That is the Lakshyartha of Sa Shabda also and Ayam Shabdartha also. Ayam Shabda also. It is the meaning of Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda. Why? Because Vachyartha of Sa Shabda is this Devadatta with the features of young man. Vachyartha of Ayam Shabda is the Devadatta with the features of old man. Whereas the meaning which we are extracting from both is what? Featureless Devadatta. And featureless Devadatta is not the Vachyartha of Sa Shabda or Ayam Shabda. What is it? It is Lakshyartha of Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda. And with that Lakshyartha, the Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda has got the Sambandha. What is the Sambandha? This pure Devadatta is the Lakshya and Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda are Lakshaka or Lakshana. So Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda are Lakshana or Lakshaka, and the pure Devadatta is Lakshya. Therefore the relationship between pure Devadatta and Sa Ayam Shabda will have Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. Why Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda are called Lakshana? Because Lakshyate Anena iti Lakshanam. The pure Devadatta is indicated by the word Sa and Ayam only. Therefore, pure Devadatta is Lakshya and these two are Lakshana. Lakshana here means indicator, implier. So, between this Sa Ayam Shabda and this pure Devadatta, the relationship is Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. Not only that, even Shabdartha, the Sa Shabdartha and Ayam Shabdartha, they also become Lakshana in the sense from the Shabdartha, Vachyartha, Rupa Shabdartha alone we can go to Lakshyartha. Because Lakshyartha has to be connected with Vachyartha. Shakya Sambandho Lakshana. Implication means the connection with the Vachyartha. And therefore, Lakshyartha has to be connected with the Vachyartha. And therefore, Lakshyate Anena, with the help of which Lakshyartha is arrived at, is what? Vachyartha. Therefore, the Saha Ayam Shabdartha will be called Lakshana. So, Sa Ayam Shabda also called Lakshana and Sa Shabdartha, Ayam Shabdartha also called Lakshana. Not Lakshana, Lakshana means indicator. Lakshana means implication and Lakshana means implier. I hope it is clear. So that is what happens. So relationship between the Shabda and this pure Devadatta is Lakshya Lakshana. The relationship between the Shabdartha and this pure Devadatta is Lakshana Lakshya Sambandha. Relationship between the Sa and Ayam Shabda and pure Devadatta is Lakshya Lakshana, and here also the Padartha and this pure Devadatta is Lakshya Lakshana. Same thing is there with reference to Mahavakya also. In Mahavakya also, when we hear the sentence Tattvamasi, that Tat refers to Ishvara, who is Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, Chaitanyam, and Tvam refers to Alpajna, Alpashaktiman, Chaitanyam. And they are in Samanadikaranyam, they seem to have that, and their meanings have got Visheshana Visheshya Bhava, and therefore they must be revealing oneness. But how can they reveal oneness? And we cannot say this statement is invalid because it is coming from Shruti. And therefore, a Shraddhalu Buddhi, what will it do? It will drop the Viruddha Amsha from Tat Padartha. Tat Padartha is what? Sarvagnatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam or Parokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam. So Parokshatva is dropped, and what is grasped? Only Chaitanyam. And similarly from Tvam Padartha, what is Tvam Padartha? The Aparokshatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam, Alpagdatvadi Vishishta Chaitanyam. From that Alpagdatva, Aparokshatva is dropped. What is grasped? Only Chaitanyam. So from the Vachyartha of the word Tat, only Chaitanyam is grasped, and from the Vachyartha of Tvam, only pure consciousness is grasped. And between the pure consciousness which is extracted from the Tat Padartha and the pure consciousness extracted from the Tvam Padartha are one and the same. The pure consciousness extracted from Tat Padartha and pure consciousness extracted from the Tvam Padartha, both of them are one, and that is how oneness is grasped. That is being said here. And okay, this much is there. And then afterwards, same thing what we had done in the Soyam Devadatta, we do it. Tattvam Pada, Tvatvam Pada, Tat Pada and Tvam Pada, both of them become Lakshana and pure Chaitanyam becomes Lakshya. So Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha. And this Tat Padartha and Tvam Padartha, both of them will have this Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha with pure consciousness. So pada and padartha, both of them will have lakshya lakshana sambandha with Shuddha Chaitanyam. That is being said in the next paragraph. Lakshya lakshana sambandha tu yatha tatra eva sashabdayam shabdayoho tadarthayoho va viruddha tatkale tatkala vishishthatva parityagena aviruddha devadattena saha lakshya lakshana bhavaha तथा अत्रापि वाक्ये तत्त्वं पदयोः तदर्थयोः वा विरुद्ध परोक्षत्वादि विशिष्टत्व परित्यागेन अविरुद्ध चैतन्येन सह लक्ष्य लक्षण भावः. If you find it very difficult, you can sit in the temple. बैठना बैठेंगे? बैठ ठीक है. नहीं क्योंकि ये बहुत टेक्निकल है, ये बहुत पहले चल गया है, उसमें अभी तो बीच में आप है ना, इसलिए थोड़ा मुश्किल लगेगा. कोई बात नहीं, जो भी समझ में आए वो ग्रहण करना बस. ओके. क्योंकि जो वन हु इज स्टडीइंग एवरी डे उनको भी डिफिकल्ट है. जो those who are studying, they also find difficult. Then what to talk about? But if you can sit, it is good. Okay. So here it is said, tu, whereas. So pakshadvaya vikalpadvaya vyavrutti और संबंधद्वयात् व्यावृत्ति ही उच्यते तु शब्देन. लक्ष्य लक्षण संबंधः, the connection in the form of being lakshya implied and lakshana implier. The connection of implier implied or implier implied implier is as follows. And first he gives drishtanta, yatha, just as, tatra eva, in that sentence alone. And here that sentence refers to soyam devadatta. In that sentence soyam devadatta, that is this devadatta or this is that devadatta. In that sentence sa shabda ayam shabdayoho, of these two words sa shabda and ayam shabda, anvaya it has got with aviruddha devadattena saha. sa shabdayam shabdayoho aviruddha devadattena saha lakshya lakshana bhavaha. This is the anvaya. The word sa and the word ayam have got lakshya lakshana sambandha, is the relationship in the form of being the implied and implier with aviruddha devadatta, unopposed pure devadatta. So that is the anvaya. Sa shabda ayam shabdayoho aviruddha devadattena saha lakshya lakshana bhavaha bhavati. Alright. Then tadarthayoho va, or of this meaning of those two words, sa shabdarthayoho, sa shabdartha ayam shabdarthayoho, sa shabdayam shabdarthayoho va, or of the meanings of the word sa and meaning of the word ayam. These two meanings have got lakshya lakshana bhava with aviruddha devadatta. Again anvaya will be tadarthayoho aviruddha devadattena saha lakshya lakshana bhavaha. So the words have got lakshya lakshana bhava sambandha with aviruddha, means pure Devadatta and Tadartha. The Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda, Sa Shabdartha and Ayam Shabdartha have got Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha with Aviruddha Devadatta. Alright. And how this Lakshya Lakshana Sambandha will be arrived at? He said, Viruddha Tatkala Etatkala Vishishtatva Parityagena. In Sanskrit it can be said very briefly. The language is developed to convey very, very terse, very subtle ideas. To explain this in English is very difficult to translate. But in Sanskrit it can be said in a very brief, precise manner. Okay. So now, how this Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha of the Shabdas and the Arthas with Aviruddha Devadatta is arrived at? He says, first of all, Aviruddha Devadatta, how is arrived at? Viruddha Tatkala Etatkala Vishishtatva Parityagena. Parityagena means by dropping. Cognitively dropping. Physically you cannot drop. What is to be dropped? Viruddha, opposite qualities. What are there? Tatkala Vishishtatva, being endowed with that time. Where do we drop this? Being endowed with that time? Kutra parityaga kriyate? Sashabdarthe. In Sashabdartha, Tatkala Vishishtatva Parityaga. The status of being endowed with that time. The meaning of the Vachyartha of the Sashabda is what? Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta. And from that Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta, what do we drop? Tatkala Vishishta part we drop. What remains? Devadatta. Only pure Devadatta. So that is said here. Tatkala Vishishtatva Parityagena. And Ayam Shabdartha is what? Etatkala Vishishta Devadatta. From that what do we drop? Etatkala Vishishtatva. So Tatkala Vishishtatva means what? The status of being endowed with that time. And Etatkala Vishishtatva means the status of being endowed with this time. From Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta we drop Tatkala, what remains is Devadatta. From Etatkala Vishishta Devadatta we drop what? Etatkala Vishishta. And so what remains? Devadatta. And what do we mean by Devadatta remains? Pure Devadatta, who is free from the features of being old and features of being young. Both are dropped. So Tatkala, Etatkala, Vishishtatva, Parityagena. All this is a cognitive process. It is not that physically we are dropping this Etatkala. Etatkala is already there. You cannot drop. Only cognitively we drop. Similarly, Tatkala we drop and we pure Devadatta we appreciate. So then what happens? Parityagena Aviruddha Devadatta. Devadatta which is unopposed to either of them. Pure Devadatta is not opposed to young Devadatta or old Devadatta. In life, if you have got more and more status, you will have fight. If you have no status, no fight. More status you have, more fight you have. The status free person, no fight. If you are having a job, then your colleague may be thinking, when this fellow will go, so I will get promotion. So fight is there. Indirectly will tell the boss, this fellow is not doing well, all this will happen. Viruddha. But you are not working at all, no problem. So Viruddha, Tatkala and Etatkala are Viruddha. Tatkala Vishishtatva and Etatkala Vishishta Viruddha. They are opposite features. Being endowed with the features of young and being endowed with the features of old, they are opposite. But both of them are dropped. What remains? Pure Devadatta, which is called Aviruddha Devadatta. This feature free Devadatta. With feature free Devadatta, which is not opposed to the meaning of the word Sa or meaning of the word Ayam. And with that aviruddha, with pure Devadatta, the Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda have got Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha. How? Because Sa Shabda and Ayam Shabda are Lakshana, means Lakshaka. They are implying this pure Devadatta. If you had not used the word Saha and Ayam with Devadatta, then pure Devadatta concept itself will not come. So Sa Devadatta, Ayam Devadatta are required, the Sa Ayam are required to arrive at this pure Devadatta. And otherwise simply you use the word simply Devadatta Gacchati, then this pure Devadatta we will not understand. So pure Devadatta, Aviruddha Devadatta is arrived at because of the word Sa and Ayam. And Lakshate Adena iti Lakshanam. So with the help of this word Saha and Ayam, pure Devadatta is implied. Therefore, Saha Shabda and Ayam Shabda, both of them are called Lakshana, implier. Alright. Tadarthayoho va. Of this meanings, Padartha, Sa Shabdartha and Ayam Shabdartha. This Tatkala Vishishta Devadatta, Sa Shabdartha, and Etatkala Vishishta Devadatta, Ayam Shabdartha. Both of them have got Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha with Aviruddha Devadatta. Why? Because from Vachyartha alone we can go to Lakshyartha. So Vachyartha also becomes the means for arriving at the Lakshyartha. And therefore, Tadartha also is Lakshanam. And therefore, the meanings of the word Saha and Ayam has got Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha with Aviruddha Devadatta. Where Aviruddha Devadatta is a Lakshya and Sa Shabda Ayam Shabda are Lakshana, or Aviruddha Devadatta is Lakshya and Tadartha, Sa Shabdartha, Ayam Shabdartha are Lakshana. And between them, Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha. This is how our intellect does. We may not be aware of this process. In fact, this happens not only this Swayam, etc. This Swayam Devadatta. See, somebody is wearing pant shirt, especially jeans and modern t-shirt, and he comes to you. Next day, he shaves his head and comes in dhoti kurta. Still you are able to recognize. What do? Yesterday with big hair and all the jeans, etc., you strip that person off of all these features. Mentally you do that. You remove all that, and right now or whatever is that also you remove, and you appreciate one pinda. So behind that yesterday's modern looking young man and that today traditionally looking young man, you appreciate as one. Because what do? You drop the features. That's why you are able to appreciate. Sometimes people may find difficult, but we appreciate. We meet the person after 25, 35 years, we appreciate because of this. Our buddhi has got capacity to drop this opposite. In fact, in relationship also, this we do if we want to have relationship healthy. Yesterday this fellow, he was telling, you are so great, I love you so much, I care for you, you are my world. And today he is telling, you are useless fellow, you have spoiled my life, why you have come to my life? So if you want to maintain the relationship, what you have to do? Lakshana. And you say, originally this person is very good. Sometimes he says you are good, wonderful. Sometimes he says, but original person is okay. That's why you are able to relate to the person. Nowadays, modern people have this problem. What problem? They react to the present situation. And therefore, what immediately react to divorce. They say before the marriage, the expense bill is paid, the divorce is already fine. So that happens. Anyway, so this Lakshana has to be done. Then there is no issue. Alright, that is a part. That's not the main thing. So, Shabdayoho Tadarthayoho va Aviruddha Devadattena saha Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha Sambandha Bhavati. Drishtante. Tatha. Similarly, Atrapi Vakye. in this sentence also. Here in this is atrapi means asmin api vakye. In this sentence means what? In Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Also similar thing is done. What? Tattvam padayoho tadarthayoho va viruddha parokshatva parokshatvadi vishishtatva parityagena aviruddha chaitanyena saha lakshya lakshana bhavaha. So here in Tattvamasi Mahavakya also, Tattvam pada, Tatpada and Tvam have got Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha, implied relationship, Saha, with whom? Aviruddha Chaitanyam, unopposed consciousness. And Tadarthayoho va, or of the meanings of the word Tat and Tvam, also there is Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha, implied relationship with unopposed consciousness. And how this unopposed consciousness is arrived at? It is said, Viruddha Parokshatva Aparokshatvadi Vishishtatva Parityagena. Parityagena means by giving up. By giving up what? Parokshatva and Aparokshatvadi Vishishtatva. Parokshatva Vishishtatva means what? Being endowed with the quality of being removed. The status of being endowed with the quality of being removed. That parokshatva kasya bhavati? Tatpadarthasya. So, from the tatpadartha, and what is tatpadartha? Parokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. So, from that parokshatva vishishta chaitanyam, parokshatva vishishta will drop. What remains? Chaitanyam. And aparokshat, the tvam padartha is what? Aparokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. There also aparokshatvadi vishishtatva parityagena. We drop there aparokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. If we take vachyartha of tat parokshatva vishishta chaitanyam, ayam shabdartha, tvam padartha is aparokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. Both of them are opposite. Therefore it is said viruddha. Tat padartha is parokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. Tvam padartha is aparokshatva vishishta chaitanyam. And both of them are viruddha. And that viruddha aspect we drop. So viruddha parokshatva aparokshatva vishishtatva parityagena. So by dropping the features, the qualities of this tat padartha and tvam padartha, which are contradictory with each other, because parokshatva is opposite to aparokshatva. And if we see in more details, Ishvara, which is the tat padartha, has got sarvajnatva, sarvashaktimatva. He has got samashti upadhi, whereas the jiva has got vyashti upadhi, individual upadhi. So viruddha are there. So one is samashti, other is vyashti. One is big, other is small. Opposite. But that which is creating contradiction, that we drop. And what is the basis to drop? The basis to drop is that parokshatva, aparokshatva in the tat padartha and tvam padartha are superficial, are based on ignorance, based on the adhyasa. The prapancha traya is not intrinsical to Paramatma. Similarly, Shariratraya is not intrinsical to Jiva. They are just superficial, mithya, and therefore we drop. So droppable is dropped, or worth dropping is dropped. And so viruddha parokshatva parokshatva de vishishta parityagena aviruddha chaitanyena, the consciousness which is aviruddha. Which consciousness? The consciousness which remains after dropping the viruddha amsha. From tat padartha, we have dropped parokshatva, the vishishta part. So what remains? Pure consciousness. From ayam, the tvam padartha, aparokshatva, the vishishta chaitanyam. The aparokshatva, the vishishta is dropped. What remains? Chaitanya. So that chaitanyam, which remains after renouncing the viruddha amsha, that chaitanyena saha, with that chaitanyam, Lakshya Lakshana Bhavaha. This Chaitanya is Lakshya. Why? It is an implied meaning. It is not primary meaning. Primary meaning is Parokshatva, Parokshatvadi Vishishta. The pure consciousness is implied meaning. Therefore, it is Lakshya, and the Shabda, Tat and Tvam Shabda, are the Lakshana, because by them alone this pure consciousness is implied. And Tadartha also is our Lakshana, because through them alone this pure consciousness is arrived at. And therefore, Tattvam Padayoho, Tadarthayoho Va, Aviruddha Chaitanyena Saha, Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha. In simple words, to arrive at the oneness, the Lakshana is required. So the third Sambandha alone is the main Sambandha. Okay. Where Lakshana is required. What is done? Lakshana means what? We have retained one part and we have dropped one part. Chaitanya part is retained and the opposite attribute part is dropped. And that type of arriving at the meaning is called Lakshana. Alright. And that Lakshana is done, and then only we can arrive at the oneness. And that Sambandha, where the Lakshana is done, is called Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha. Alright. Now, somebody may say that all these things you are telling is something different from what we generally hear. You are doing the Lakshya Lakshana Bhava by Viruddhamsha Parityaga and all this, whereas we always hear that Bhagatyaga Lakshana is there in the Tattvamasi Bhavakya. You are telling something different. Therefore, the author is saying that what I have told in the third part is nothing but Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Therefore, he says, Iyameva Bhaga Lakshana iti uchyate. Iyameva. This type of arriving at the Lakshyartha alone. Iyam. The Tikakara says, Iyam means what? Tattvamasyadi Vakyanam Viruddhamsha Parityagena. That is the main thing. Viruddhamsha Parityagena Aviruddha Chaitanya Matra Bodhakatvam Eva Bhagalakshana iti uchyate. So Tattvamasi Mahavakya are revealer of unopposed consciousness by dropping the opposite features. That alone is called Bhagalakshana. So what is Bhagalakshana? Is otherwise called Bhagatyaga Lakshana. In Bhagatyaga Lakshana, what we are doing? One part is dropped, one part is retained. Bhagasya Tyagaha, Bhagatyagaha. And in short, it is called Bhagalakshana. So, Bhagalakshana. Lakshana means implication. Implication in which one part of the immediate meaning is dropped and one part of the immediate meaning is retained. That type of implication is called Bhagalakshana. Yasyam Lakshanayam Ekasya Bhagasya Tyagaha Ekasya Bhagasya Atyagaha Sa Lakshana Bhagalakshana Uchyate. So, Iyameva, this process of arriving at the pure consciousness, having dropped the opposite attributes, this alone is Bhagalakshana iti uchyate. So what he wants to say, that the words we have used are different. Some prakriya is different, but essentially it is the same. What is the same? That Viruddhamsha is dropped and Aviruddhamsha is retained. That part is the same in this third prakriya also. Third sambandha, it is the same. So Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha is okay. Lakshya Lakshana Bhava Sambandha alone is called Bhagalakshana. Okay. So Bhagalakshana, what is conveyed by the word Bhagalakshana and what is conveyed by the Padayoho Padarthayo Lakshya Lakshana Bhava are the same. The idea conveyed is the same. Okay. In English they use, no, what they call? Old wine in the new bottle. So it is that only. Yes. Now, this itself is very involved and intricate, very difficult for most of the people to understand. Still, this Granthakara wants to go further deeper. And he is answering a possible doubt that why are you becoming so complicated? I will tell you easy method. That easy method he tells is going to be very difficult. But it is a human nature. What you like, you always find shortcut. What you don't like, you find very long. Like somebody, I think I have given the example. For a brahmachari, there are two options. He can go to kshetra and eat bhiksha. Or he can cook. He can get some raw material from some people, some sabji he gets and all, and then he can cook. Now suppose brahmachari is fond of cooking and eating, what will he say? Ek kshetra mein jana, you have to, from your bed you have to get up, you have to wear chappal, then you have to close your door, and then you have to tell somebody, take care of my room. And then you go and go and go and go, and then you stand in the queue, and then you have to take bhiksha, and then you bring, and then again you sit on the floor, and then you eat, then you have to clean. All this you will say. Whereas, here just you bring rice, sabji, and come and just cook it, put it on the gas, over, eat and finish. Because he likes to cook. Really speaking, in cooking so many things are involved. But since he is fond of that, he will say, this is very shortcut. So whatever you like will appear as shortcut. Even though what you like has got some issues, problems, but it will not be seen. Dosha bhava will be there. What you like, you will not see the defects. And what you don't like, you will see so many defects. Ye theek nahi, wo theek nahi, If somebody said you study grammar, afternoon, I feel sleepy, I cannot go. But if he is fond of music, no, I don't sleep. So, that's what happens. When you want to do, you don't see dosha. When you don't want to see, you see so many defects. All right. So here, this Purva Pakshi may raise the doubt. Yet Purva Paksha is not given, but we have to understand. Purva Pakshi says, why are you going to the third stage? First Samanadhikaranyam you see, third level. First Padayoho Samanadhikaranyam you see, then Visheshana Visheshya Bhava you see, and then Lakshya Lakshana Bhava you see. We can restrict up to two stages only. Samanadhikaranyam you see, Visheshana Visheshya Bhava you see, good enough. You need not go there. Lakshya Lakshana Bhava, you need not go. And you can interpret this Tattvamasi Mahavakya not like Soyam Devadatta where Lakshana is required. In Soyama Devadatta, Lakshana is required. He said we can interpret this Tattvamasi Mahavakya like Neelam Utpalam. Simple. So Neelam Utpalam, this blue lotus, two words are there. We get the meaning. By Samanadhikaranyam first we observe, and then Visheshana Visheshya Bhava you observe. We get Vakyartha, that Neelatva Vishishtam Utpalam or Utpalatva Vishishtam Neelam. So we get the Vakyartha, Kam Khatam, job is done. Why should we go for Lakshana and all this? So Purva Pakshi wants to say that Tattvamasi Mahavakya should be interpreted like Neelam Utpalam, where Visheshana Visheshya Bhava alone is required, Lakshya Lakshana Bhava doesn't come into the picture. Is it clear? There is a Purva Paksha. Considering that Purva Paksha, Granthakara is saying in the next sentence, Asmin Vakye Neelam Utpalam iti Vakyavat Vakyarthaha na sangachyate Asmin Vakye. in this sentence, means in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, Neelam Utpalam, blue lotus. Lotus is blue, or blue, there is blue lotus. Iti Vakyavat, like that sentence. Vakyarthaha, the meaning of the Vakya, meaning of the sentence. Neelam Utpalam also can be a sentence. Neelam Utpalam Asti, or Utpalam Neelam Asti. Sentence. And is meaning, whatever meaning of the sentence is, Vakyartha, we will talk about Vakyartha, whatever is there. So the meaning of the sentence, just as it is there in Neelam Utpalam, like that, na sangachate, doesn't go well, doesn't go, means that fit in, is not appropriate. Means, Asmin Vakya, in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, we cannot derive the Vakyartha the way we can derive from Neelam Utpalam. And therefore, in Neelam Utpalam, Lakshana is not required, because our Buddhi will do necessary process at the level of the Vachyartha of the words and will get the Vakyartha. I hope you understand the difference, Vachyartha and Vakyartha. So our Buddhi will grasp the Vachyartha of the word Neelam, Vachyartha of the word Utpalam, and based on this Vachyartha, our Buddhi will grasp the Vakyartha in the form of Samsarga or Vishishta. That will come later on. So whatever Vakyartha possible, our Buddhi will grasp, and Lakshana is not required. So Neelam Utpalam can do the job only by the appreciation of Samanadikaranyam and Visheshana Visheshya Bhava. So our Buddhi will appreciate, yes, Neelam Utpalam, they have got Samanadikaranyam. Padayoho Samanadikaranyam vartate, Padarthayoho Visheshana Visheshya Bhava Sambandha vartate. And by that Neelatva Vishishtam Utpalam, that type of Vakyartha can come. And there is no problem. But in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, Tatpadartha Vishishta Tvam Padartha or Tvam Padartha Vishishta Tatpadartha, that type of Vakyartha will not fit in. Therefore, don't do copy paste. Copy paste is not possible here, because that Neelam Utpalam operates in a particular way and this Tattvamasi operates in a particular way. The difference will be shown in the next two paragraphs. In the 156 he will show that in Neelam Utpalam Vakyartha is grasped by the two stages only and no problem. But in Tattvamasi Mahavakya there will be Pramanantara Virodha. Therefore Vakyartha cannot be derived like Neelam Utpalam. Those details we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.